Hey! Well, it's been a productive start to the week. I've got lots of little bits and pieces, lots of loose ends to tie up. Using Trello and a proper notepad to tick things off. Had a couple of calls because this time next week I'm going to be at a meeting and I'm kind of not in a too formal way, but I'm kind of presenting. So I wanted to firm up what I should be saying in that. Yes, and just sort of like downloading videos, uploading videos, getting stuff done. So it's Tuesday. Got my accounts for VAT from like January to the end of March to the accountant. Bearing in mind that the deadline for that is like 2 weeks away, I feel like my accountant might fall off her chair. I don't think that's ever happened before. Last night I was sending out invitations to people to be on the podcast because I really need to get some more guests lined up. And what is brilliant is I've already had 2 positive responses back this morning from people who I think would be great to talk to. And I've been trying to get a balance right as well. I had too many women and too many American women. And so I've been trying to find male freelancers and of different nationalities as well. So they're not all American, for example. Because, yeah, I don't want it to be too many of one particular type in a row. Be that type of profession, gender, nationality. You know, like I just want it to be nice and diverse across the weeks. So anyway, that's all good as well. But it's nearly 11:30, which means it's time to go for a run.
From the Being Freelance podcast.
I think just having that mentality though is helpful for a freelancer to not rest on your laurels. If business is really good, then it's safe to assume that could change.
Now, this is a real rarity. An evening out in the town I live. You know the co-working space that I sometimes go to now that has recently opened. This is their first social kind of networking kind of thing. Never a better time for to get in when things start.
So welcome to the first formal Digital Hearts meeting. Woo!
What a great evening. I don't know, maybe it's because there was free beer. Really interesting talk as well. But also, yeah, just talking to people about what I do. And by that I mean being freelance. Actually, I never mentioned the videos, I just mentioned the podcast. Because talking to yourself as you walk past car parks is weird, isn't it? I may have inadvertently just suggested to the nice lady who organises the whole co-work space that perhaps we should try doing a meetup for freelancers with talks. Come on, I've been saying this town needs it for years. And never quite done it myself. Maybe a collaboration might actually get that moving for once.
A magic trick.
No way. I keep thinking about that. It was a really nice night. I've been to quite a few networking things in this town over the past few years, and that was the first one I really enjoyed. Normally they're a bit of an effort, and it wasn't last night. In fact, it was effortless. And there was a really interesting presentation, but more than that, I just felt like I found my people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I already feel like I found my people online, and I've met some of those in real life, but not locally, not actually in my town, not properly. And the whole event last night was meant to be bringing together like creatives and those working in like digital and tech and stuff in this area. Maybe that sounds stupid, but it felt like I'd found my people. In the past when I've been to events, it's full of people who have been networking in this town for maybe the past 20 years, all know each other, all are about business, and maybe even quite big business, rather than perhaps being in smaller teams or independent like I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying they're not nice people, but I never feel like I fit in. I never feel like they're me, whereas these people really were. So I had a really nice natural night. Came home and just, instead of doing any work last night, just sat on a beanbag with my wife, drinking wine and having a nice chat, and it was nice. Made a nice change. So it is a glorious Thursday morning. It's actually our wedding anniversary. 10 years. 10. So just wandering into town because I've got audio to edit, so I'm gonna have a bit of a change of scene. We're a bit behind on delivering this voiceover. It's myself and a female voiceover, but she has been sick. So her voice has only just recovered. So we've drawn up a list of priorities as to what the company needs. And we're gonna, try and sift through those, get them in their Dropbox as soon as possible. So recorded a podcast where I was a guest on their podcast today, so that was fun. Whipped down some lunch, recorded a couple of voiceovers, and have had to come up to school early because there's like reading with your kids things today and tomorrow. Like literally not even been working an hour, and look. Bizarrely, that little green light means the broadband isn't working. Virgin Media deciding in their infinite wisdom that green, unlike every traffic light in the world, means stop. So ahead of the meeting I've got next week, I've ordered some sort of celebratory cake pops. So these are cake, you can eat them in the design of the figure that we use in the videos for them. I don't really know why, I just thought it might be fun. It's such an ongoing project, the end is so far ahead. I figure we need to celebrate as we go along. So they're coming up with me next week, in next week's vlog. You'll see me going on a trip. Yeah, I know, I'm going to leave the house. Brilliant. And does that give you more? So, I spent the weekend doing bits of work and sorting out stuff for the Being Freelance podcast. New episode, by the way, is Elliot Taylor, well worth a listen. I love the fact that I've had this from a few guests. There's this ability to have one career. And in the past, everybody thought, well, that was it. You know, you were doing that thing for the rest of your life. And yet, both with Elliot and the guest before, Roxanne, they've been working in offices doing one thing and then totally changed. Roxanne was just filling in forms for an agency, and suddenly she's this really successful artist. Elliot was doing general sort of marketing type stuff and took a change, a step back, perhaps money-wise for a little bit, to teach himself coding, and is now a specialist in WordPress and WooCommerce. Yeah, they're such great stories. Make sure you take a listen, beingfreelance.com or wherever you get your podcasts. But a lot of the weekend I've spent sort of worrying about the meeting I've got tomorrow. Is that leaf annoying? And past experience tells me that I'm being ridiculous and that it'll all be fine and we'll have a lovely time. But that little niggling thing tells you, what if they're... Yeah, what if you've done something wrong and all of this is about to come to an end? Maybe that never goes away. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that keeps us on our toes, keeps us performing to a high standard. But anyway, yes, that's what's sort of consuming me this weekend, those sort of thoughts. Tell me I'm just being an idiot. Yeah, I know. But what if I'm not?